Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling, and should we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today? Well, we've got 3 days to go until big day, like a kid on Christmas morning. The big New Horizons update, which everyone is clamouring for, myself included. Well, we'll get tons of content and tons of fun stuff to hopefully play around with and revitalise the series. One of that is really dying. I'm actually having... you would not believe how fun it is when I have something to talk about, to talk just endlessly for half an hour about utter nonsense. It's incredibly fun, and if you're like me, you probably would find it a similar sort of vein. It's just kind of hard to also play Animal Crossing at the same time. So anything is kind of relaxing to have simple things going on in the background. So anyway, hello there everyone. Right now in Fawnhollow, it's 5:15 PM on Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021. Today was a bit of an interesting day, for multiple reasons actually. Like, I know you're not meant to talk about dreams, but I actually had a weird dream earlier today, because I woke up like quite early, like way earlier than I usually do, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go back to sleep because it's way too early. My alarm hasn't even sounded. And then I had a dream, and it was a weird dream where I can't really remember the overarching the details, but the overarching concept is someone made a meal and then also had like cyanide nearby, and then somehow it got cross-contaminated. Heavens, I thought. That's not heavens would have. Wait, well, what's the phrase? Whatever. Basically, like, who'd have seen that coming? Cyanide randomly got into some cross-contamination with the food that was being prepared. To my new pal Fabulous, a great medium. I'm pretty sure we had this before. And I like to reiterate, this is a dream, this did not happen. And then I had some, and then I was like, whoa, I can't like swallow things anymore. Like my throat is like, it's like I'm being choked or something. So then I had to go to the emergency room, obviously in this dream. And then, you know, this is one of the rare dreams which is actually has some sort of basis in reality for me. So it's rather startling. But I remember, like, my parents were there and were just like, hey, we can't do it because we're hosting a dinner party or something. They might have been the one to cook with me also. Maybe this is sort of like some subconscious like reasoning I'm going on with here. But my sister was there, and she was like, give me your phone, I'll call all of your friends. I don't know why we had to go through so many different channels, but she called two of my friends who could drive me to the ER. And then I can't remember exactly what happened, but we somehow ended up in like Walt Disney World in Florida's ER section, which I don't know if they have an emergency room in Walt Disney World. I'd imagine maybe, especially with a big one in Orlando, Florida. But that was very strange. And then I had like an operation where they put some weird sort of like what I think it was meant to be is one of those like breathing tube things, or like inundators. I can't remember what the word is. Which are meant to like breathe for you while you undergo operation, except for I was still kind of conscious, and it kind of like attached directly to my throat, which is a very weird sensation, I must say. And when I woke up, and I was like, oh, whoa, hold on, I still can't like really properly breathe or like swallow stuff through my throat. Weirder stuff happened. I can't quite remember quite what. And then I you know, obviously I woke up and I was like, hold on a minute. It's because I'm sleeping like on my wrist, which is now like pushing into my throat. So that was a really weird sort of mix of reality and oh, you're not allowed to move, Raymond. I'm just telling you. Mix of reality where, because I was like sort of like sleeping on my throat in real life, the dream translated to that, and I guess my brain didn't see fit to wake me up until, you know, it got to a point where I was having surgery in the dream. So I don't know, that was a weird situation. But when I woke up, and then, you know, it's, you know, it was like, oh, a bit startled from my sleep, you know. It's always weird waking up from a dream you sort of had a rude awakening from. And it's always a little bit disorientating. But still, I woke up and then I, like, you know, went to look at my phone and I was like, huh, there's only mobile data on my phone, why isn't Wi-Fi working? Turns out the internet service provider has had outages throughout all of like UK, starting from late last night, depending on your local area, and then it suddenly hit the area I live in as well. And we, you know, just didn't have Wi-Fi from about 9 AM until it came back around 3 PM. So I took the time, you know, just being like, well, you know, what am I going to do when the internet's out? Normally, you know, I'd like play some games or do some other stuff, draw and stuff, and, you know, that's basically what I did. I played on piano a bit, got some more practice in, slowly learning a piece, ID Smile, the good old Vocaloid song, which I talked about probably, I don't know, in some episode, oh, you know, I think it was the Celeste episode, now I think about it. Slowly trying to learn it. I'm a bit out of practice when it comes to piano, because I think I've spoken about this before. I'm pretty, when I was younger, I was pretty good at piano, but now it's been like many sort of years, and I'm just trying to sort of like slowly get back into it. But I'm also, you know, I don't have sometimes I don't always find the time to play it when I particularly should. So, you know, it's been hither and thither, as I might say, which I don't think anyone does, but you might say it. So that was a good time. And then I played a bit of Binding of Isaac Repentance, which I haven't played for ages, mind you. Like, hold on, I don't even know if I'm online on Steam anymore. Am I? Am I online? Am I online? Can I sign in? Signed out. How do I go back online on Steam? Go online. There you go. Restart and go online. And I played a bit of Binding of Isaac. I defeated Mother with Keeper. It was just normal Keeper, not Tainted Keeper, if that means anything to you, which it might not. Oh yeah, wait, we haven't even looked at our missions for today. Probably should have done that, huh? Sell things, chop wood, flowers, flower seeds, catch fish. Okay, can do. We only have 2 flower seeds. This was a gross oversight. So let's go put some stuff away as we try and sort this out. So yeah, I played some Binding of Isaac Repentance, which I haven't played for a while. And, you know, and I'm not so much in the Binding of Isaac Repentance. Why is Steam continuously opening? Stop this. It will not stop opening. Close. Okay. And I don't know what that was about. But the Steam client just kept reopening itself every time I closed it. Like a virus, if anything. That's kind of scary. But hopefully I don't have a virus. No, what was I saying? I forgot. Yeah, I'm not so much into the Repentance craze anymore as I was when it was first released. And, you know, I'm like kind of... I played it for a while and I was like, you know what? I don't really feel like playing any more of it. After I played that one run when in contrast, I can't speak. So when I first bought Repentance, I was just like, oh man, I just got to keep play another run. And I think it's partially because I was like, I've done most of the things now, to be honest. And, you know, that honeymoon period is sort of over. And also part of it, I'm sure, is because a lot of the things I had left out are like kind of hard, and I don't really want to do them. Or it's just gotten to the point where it's tedious. Doing things like 46 times? I can't remember how many characters are in the game is rather tedious in the end. But yeah, so the internet was out. And then, you know, I just did some drawing. That's about it. Nothing particularly exciting. And then I used my mobile data and my phone to play some of the mobile games. And then it eventually came back, and I was like, all right, cool. Can go back to my usual business using the internet. And it just made me sort of like reminisce, because there was a time where we moved house when I was younger. We moved to a place which didn't have the internet set up. Actually, this happened twice now. I think about it. One time in like like before this. Like way before, like I think I was around 13 or so, and we basically didn't have any internet in our home for, I'm not sure how long it was. I'm gonna say it was a couple of weeks for some reason. I don't know. I assume oh, hello Flick. I assume it's the broadband company like were setting up things or something, or I don't exactly remember, but it was something which we knew was gonna happen in advance. So of course I just downloaded a load of games, except for I didn't own many games at the time. This is the time I played Plants vs Zombies multiple times. It was like I had my DS and I had Plants vs Zombies on my computer, so I played through Plants vs Zombies, and then I did like all the challenges, all these endless challenges and that sort of thing. That's when like when I played Plants vs Zombies, I wanted to do this the endless wave challenge. So I looked up a guide on YouTube, and then I made my own like MS Paint guide on how to recreate it. So in offline mode, I'd know how to do it, because this was back. I think this is even before I had a mobile phone, so I didn't have any mobile data to speak of. My sister played through Plants vs Zombies because obviously she probably got kind of bored with no internet as well for a while. I suppose if anything, you can say it's a bit of a commentary on over reliance on the internet in a certain aspect, but it's more just like internet's kind of like. That's how good the internet is. It can do like literally anything. The ways to entertain you are so vast over the internet that suddenly having it being taken away from you kind of does mess up the rhythm of things. Not even in a recreational sense, but a lot of things like in a practical sense rely on the internet as well. You think how many things are like smart fridges and like even in our central heating system is like powered using like is Wi-Fi connected to the boiler, which you can still change it manually, but you know that sort of convenience of being able to change the heating on the fly from an app on your phone is no longer there as a convenience when the internet's gone. But yeah, played Plants vs Zombies, and my sister played for it. I did all the challenges. I might have played for it again. I don't remember. I don't quite remember off the top of my head. I think I played some Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, maybe. But I remember, I don't actually remember too much from that sort of time. It was just like, you know, we just didn't have internet for a long while, and I don't know, that was it. But there was also another time when I was younger where we moved house to a different house which didn't have any internet set up, and we knew that was going to happen, but that was going to be for like a month, and this was a bit more of an annoying time because I think I must have been doing GCSE, so that would have put me around 16. Oh yeah, it was around mocks, I think, so it would have been in January or when I was around 16, so about 8 years ago, more or less. Yeah, I think it was over winter holiday or something, or maybe even around Christmas time. Exactly, we moved to a house and we didn't have internet set up, but we knew it was coming, so you know, like for the family, we got like 2 of these, I don't know what they're called, but like sort of like USB dongle things, which are kind of like mobile data. I guess they're kind of like mobile data hotspot things, but you just plug them in. They're not really hotspots, you just plug them into a computer, because you can get them, and I know I was going to say, oh, we need to chop wood. I didn't realise that. You can get them, similar things, I suppose, when you go on holiday. At least, like, that's what I did when we were in Japan and Korea. You can get, like, a mobile data Wi-Fi hotspot to, you know, when you're travelling around, which is convenient if you have multiple people who need to use the Wi-Fi. Which is what we had. But it's a similar thing. You USB plug it into your computer, and then, you know, I guess it uses mobile data. It makes, like, gives your... Oh no, it's planting flowers, it's not watering flowers. And you, yeah, you just get Wi-Fi, I suppose, from mobile data. It's not as complicated as I'm making it out to be. I'm pretty sure it's just like a mobile data hotspot, but, you know, it also has some Ethernet port as well. I don't exactly remember. But I remember, I think it had like 8 gigabytes or something, and I was like, 8 gigabytes per month? That's like... I've got to be really conservative with how I do this, so I prepped like well in advance, you know. I download before we moved. I downloaded like all the resources I think I needed to like revise for mocks. Mocks being like my mock GCSE exams, which happened in the winter preceding the summer of examinations. GCSEs just being sort of like high school exams. I downloaded a load of other stuff. I think I downloaded some like books to read offline. I downloaded a load of games. One of them being Tiny Brains. Maybe one of them was also Plants vs Zombies again. I can't remember. It was just a load of games which I could play offline, recreationally. And there's probably some other things I downloaded. I don't really record off the top of my head. But I got super prepared in advance. But at the time that, like, you know, that the period came around where we wouldn't have internet, it was just like about a week to go, and I was like, I've used up 1.8 gigabytes of this 8 gigabyte like data plan I suppose we had. So, you know, instead I just gave it to my sister, and she was like, you know, I'll just, you know, oh man, you have so much left. I guess I'll just like stream continuously for like the past week or so. So I don't know. I think she watched a load of things on iPlay or something. I don't really recall, to be honest. But yeah, I just ended up playing and downloading a load of games offline, which is, you know, just, I'm not gonna be like, oh, that's how things should be, but it was just like the level of preparedness you have really sort of affects how much you get to do. Of course, this one was much more spontaneous that we had this morning, and I assume it's still going on for certain people around the country, which, you know, my heartfelt apologies. Not apologies in the sense that, like, I don't work for the cable company, and I'm not really in control of it. It's just like it's an annoying situation to be in, certainly, especially when it's unexpected. But I'm not going to be like, oh, you know, the cable companies, they should just get it done. It should just be easy to do it. Probably isn't. Why do we have a pink mum here? Oh, because we have one of each flower, right? That's why we have this is the one exception where we put 2 of the same flower next to each other. I recall. Wait, we could just not put it here. We could just put it over here instead, right? Oh no, we've got another green mum over there. Okay, it doesn't really matter. Technicalities which don't matter. But yeah, there's a lot of things which require the internet. Obviously, you know, I play games. A lot of the games I play require connection to the internet in some sort of aspect. Not like a heavy amount of usage or anything, but sometimes you've got to download things, and you don't really want to download things on a mobile data hotspot. Even though, to be fair, I actually have a lot of mobile data on my plan. I think I have like 5 gigabytes or something, and I use like none of it each month. Like, let's see. Oh, I have 8 gigabytes, and I've used 1 gigabyte, and I've got 3 days left until my plan updates. Not my plan, all of it refreshes. Actually, that doesn't sound right. I thought my plan refreshes in the middle of the month. I don't know why it says 3 days left. Oh well. Who knows, to be honest. But I was just like, oh, what should I do? Like, the only things I can really do, I suppose, is play some of the games I've already got downloaded, of which the only one like I could record some episodes, but I don't really feel like doing it in the morning. I don't tend to not record in the morning, obviously, you know. For one thing, my throat just like sounds like this, and if you hear me talk like this, that sounds not particularly, you know, interesting, I suppose. Hard to put any sort of passion and emotion into your voice when you don't feel like it that early in the morning. Not to say like I'm not a morning person, I suppose. It's just more like I'm not like an outwardly spoken morning person, you know. Like, hold on, I'm trying to think how to phrase this. More like, it's not like I don't have energy. It's like I don't have energy to put on like a bit more energy into be a little bit more performative, I suppose. Because yes, you know, when you record videos, it is a little bit performative. I'll be honest, it's not like I'm like this all the time, but it's not to say it's a fake either, to a certain aspect. You'd be like, you know, this is what I'd be like if I was, you know, going out with friends or something like that. You know, a bit more chatty, a bit more talkative, as opposed to like quietly working on something to myself or like etc. I don't know why I'm delving into this. I'm just trying to say. Anyway, network connection down this morning. You know, you go on to downdetector.co.uk or .com, and I don't remember what it is, and you just like search a company and you report it, and you see how many other reports there's been, and it's like, wow, okay, there's been like 20,000 reports in the past like couple hours or so. Looks like it's not just me, which is always reassuring to hear. Because if it's just me, I'm just like, oh, I'm suffering solo throughout this entire situation. Not that I want like a sense of schadenfreude, but it's sort of like there's nothing I can do. Once the power's out of your hands, you're just like, that's it. Blame the company, which, you know, I guess it kind of is the company's fault, to be fair, but if it's something that's just only affecting you, you're sort of like, it feels like there should be something I could do about this, but there's not. So take some of this. I don't think we need to buy any other things. We just need to plant these. Trying to think, like, what... I don't know, because the company... the broadband providing company. Is that a reliable broadband company even out there? Obviously, I'm not going to sort of, like, name names and be like, oh, this is the company, avoid them or that sort of thing. I don't think, like... They got a great reputation, but I don't know a broadband company which does have a good reputation, to be perfectly honest, at least in the UK. Because to be fair, like when broadband goes down, you like notice like with any sort of like general utilities and I'm not sure if internet counts as a general utility, but you know anything which falls under that sort of category, you know, like water, gas, electricity. Once it goes down, like so many people will notice. Like it affects everyone like immediately, and you get obviously a lot of people complaining because it's such a thing which is I don't mean it like in a demeaning way when I say it's something which people rely on, because I think it's fair that people rely on it, because like a lot of our society, I suppose, is like structured around this sort of thing in the first place. It'd be sort of, you know, it's a bit of a hot take to be like, oh, you know, kids these days, you know, rely on the internet so much, which now I think about it, was certainly a much more common sentiment, I suppose, between some teachers. And when I was in secondary school, it was like, you know, rely on the internet so much, you know, you don't need it. But I was like, you know, the internet's kind of important when it comes to getting education, especially on days, you know, when the school is shut. You know, when it came to snow days, I remember, especially, and they started giving out homework assignments over the internet, which I'm sure if you're a kid nowadays, or if you went to school during a pandemic situation, you probably understand very well. But our school's like website was not amazing. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. It was all right. It was passable at best. But you know, like some kids, they didn't have much computer access, or didn't have like much internet access all that often. Or didn't even check school website that much, or couldn't, like didn't have access to any homework, that sort of thing. It just sort of made me think, despite the fact that obviously I had quite easy access to the internet and that sort of thing, I was like, you know, it's kind of on the same level as education now, isn't it? It's like, technically, okay, do you need literally education to survive as a sustenance as a human being? No, but, you know, in modern day society, you kind of do. Situations change, I suppose, is what I mean saying. I'm not very elegant with exactly with sort of message I'm trying to get across it. I'm not really sure if there's like some grand overarching message I'm really going for. It's just sort of like when the internet goes down, you notice it, I suppose, is really the long and short of it, which is obvious to say, but like, I mean, it's just what happened. And it was a bit of an inconvenience for a lot of people, to be perfectly honest. But there's something like weirdly nostalgic thinking back on those days where we didn't have internet. Obviously, it kind of sucked. Like, if you're going to give me the option, would you rather have, like, you know, spend a month without internet or spend a month with internet? It's like, why wouldn't I just spend a month with internet? If I wanted to have the benefits of spending it without internet, I could just not use the internet, I suppose. Unless, you know, temptation's really that great that I could not resist using the internet. If it's given as an option in front of me. Also, I just noticed we still have a Christmas wreath on our door, and we've never changed it since Christmas, and Christmas has nearly rolled around again. Oh well. But I don't know, there's a sort of sense of nostalgic, I don't know how to phrase it, coziness, maybe? I'm not really sure if it's coziness per se, but like just sort of like planning out what to do, you know, when you don't have the internet, and like I suppose part of it is sort of like, you know, being able to unplug from the internet. I'm not saying I particularly partake in a lot of like toxic environments on the internet. Like obviously, you know, if you're going to point fingers at toxic environments on the internet, you point to social media, and I think rightfully so. And at times it can be great, social media, as a means of connecting people, I suppose, all over the world and that sort of thing, and sharing stories and that sort of thing. But it can also be a pretty terrible place, let's be perfectly honest, and can be quite stressful and mentally fatiguing, I suppose, to even engage with it slightly. Luckily for me, I'm much more just like a browser, I suppose, in a sense. Like I don't really engage with it all that much, which, you know, if you join my Discord or follow me on Twitter, you probably notice that I don't post like anything. I just don't have anything to say, to be perfectly honest. You know, I'm thinking like, oh, maybe I should say things, and that. But then I also think about it again. I'm like, oh, no one cares about this. And then I just don't post it. I'm like, oh, I could browse, you know, Twitter for a little bit, or I could just, you know, like do something else. It's sort of like something I only do when I'm like in a waiting room, for example, like for a doctor's appointment, you know. Not something I do all that often. Which, you know, double-edged sword and all that. Sorry about that little bit of a pause there. Golden trout, you're insane. I'm not going to catch a golden trout. You're out of your mind. Let's customize some tools and then get onto it. What was I talking about? Network being down, internet being down. Oh, was I talking about how it's a bit nostalgic thinking back from those moments, I suppose. I mean, obviously, you know, I'm not going to say it sucked, because it didn't really suck. It was just like inconvenient, I suppose, in certain aspects. But like the first time it happened, it was kind of boring, I suppose, because, you know, you're a kid, and I was a kid who really liked doing stuff on the internet. You know, not having access to the internet meant, you know, not having access to a lot of things. In a certain degree, I do realise it is a privilege right in the end, so, you know, shouldn't really complain all too much. But the second time it happened, it was, you know, I was doing a lot of revising anyway, so if anything, it was a good thing, you know, to not have a potential temptation for distraction. Even though I feel like I'm, you know, when it comes to like revision and that sort of thing, I'm pretty good at, you know, just not like succumbing to temptation in the first place. By the way, as I say, we're revising, and all those sort of things you should be revising in like 30-minute spurts, or was it 20-minute spurts? I can't remember off the top of my head. Because it's quite hard to maintain concentration for more than that length of time. Was it 30 to 40 minutes? That sounds right. I feel like it's very easy to sort of get into a fallacy. It's like, oh, you know, the longer I revise, the better. But as they say, you know, past like the 40 minutes to the hour mark or something, your memory and your revision kind of fades a lot. Keep your brain activated, as I say. Also, maybe don't pay attention as much to me, because I am also not like one of the people who teaches stuff about revision. A teacher, I guess, now I think about it. How many mushrooms do we even have in the first place? We need to get more recipes. I forgot. We need to go around collecting recipes, and we don't need so many mushrooms, probably. Oh yeah, I forgot these rare mushrooms. We need to like dig them up. Having 40 of all the others, that seems alright. Actually, we might as well just keep them all for now, because like, it's not really going to be much of a downside for keeping all these mushrooms, right? We should be looking out for those super rare mushrooms. If I recall, they're by tree stumps or something buried. And somehow we got one. And oh yeah, I remember, because last year during this season, we were redoing our town. So we didn't have a 5-star rated town, but now we have a 5-star rated town again. It's higher chance for rare mushrooms to spawn, if I recall. So just keep an eye out for anything directly next to a tree, any buried items. Oh, I forgot to get bugs for Flick. back there we go. Yeah, so I was mostly just revising for that second time we didn't have the internet, from what I recall. The first time, I don't know. I guess I have a weird sense of nostalgia. And perhaps that's why Plants and Zombies is such a nostalgic video game for me. was because of that time I just played it for like so many hours all the way back then. I wonder, you know, perhaps I can sort of see the time frame if I can see when I earned the achievements in Plants vs Zombies. That's an interesting thought. Hold on. Plants vs Zombies Game of the Year edition. View my achievements. When did I unlock these? Oh, now I think about it, it'll probably be offline, so I probably won't have access to them. Let's get a walking leaf little model going here. 2010. January 2010. Does that sound right? I don't know, some of these are unlocked at really random times. 2010. Is that... I don't know, this just kind of sounds like when I started playing the game. I don't know, to be perfectly honest. Hello, Flick. Either way, my old saves are gone for some reason, because I guess there's no cloud backup saves in background for Plants vs Zombies. Which is a shame. I lost my very tall tree, which you can grow in that game. Everything else. Maybe time for a revisit and play it again at some point. Could be a lot of fun. Could also not be a lot of fun. I don't really know. Some sort of maybe if Plants vs Zombies like remastered comes out at some point, that'd be good. Unfortunately, it's owned by EA, so that's also never going to happen. But you know, you can hope. What new missions do we have? Catch bugs, water plants, catch fish. How much time have we got? 4 minutes. Okay, I think we can do the catch bugs one. Not if I keep scaring away the bugs. Or maybe, you know, let's just have a look around to see if we got any potential elegant mushrooms growing. 3 days to go. 3 days to go. Turns out I didn't really have much to say about, you know, the internet being out. I don't remember as nearly as much as I thought I did. And it's more of a case of I can remember like feelings and that sort of thing in this case, but I can't remember exact things which have happened, which has certainly made it a lot more difficult to try and recount these sort of things. I just remember playing a lot of Tiny Brains. Well, not a lot of Tiny Brains. I played it through on like the extreme version, the extreme mode or whatever, where I think it's like you can't die, or like, no, it's called like Jules mode or something, right? Where you have the powers of all four of the tiny brain creatures at once. Tiny Brains. I wonder if Tiny Brains has ever got an update or a sequel game. You know? Oh, we got Steam here. Let's have a look. Tiny Brains. Tiny Brains. There's no news, community content. Watch out, Pinky. Oh, sorry, just walking into things. Store page. I want to see which developer made this. Spearhead Games. You made other games? I mean, Omen's Sight, the definitive edition, is an action murder mystery game. In order to prevent the apocalypse, you are fated to repeat the last day of the world until it can be saved. So, Majora Mask style or something, right? Never played that game, by the way, so don't know. Omen's Sight. It looks pretty cool, though. Let me have a few look at these pictures. They made stories? Really? They do seem to have a recurring theme of anthropomorphic animals, I suppose, as characters. Looks interesting, you know. We're just doing some... I went too far backwards. Oversight, stories, and Tiny Brains. Who knew? I didn't even realise I made more games, to be honest. Oh, we don't have many trees around, so there's probably not many places for even an elegant thingamajig to spawn. What else did I do when the internet was out? I probably played on Wii quite a lot. I'm sure that happened. What games did I play? I don't know. What would I play around that in 2010? Is that Mario Kart? Did Mario Kart Wii come out around then? No, Mario Kart Wii was before then, wasn't it? Mario Kart Wii was 2008. Is that right? Maybe a bit later than no, maybe Mario Kart 8 was 2010. I honestly cannot tell you off the top of my head. I don't know when things were released. I guess I could try and figure them out in relation to myself, because Mario Kart Wii, I think, came out when I was in year 5 or year 6-ish. That's so old. That's so long ago. So what year would have that been? I would have been 10 or so. So 2007, 2008. That sounds about right. Okay, so maybe 2010 was Super Mario Galaxy? Does that sound right? Sounds plausible. I'm not sure if that's right. Hey, Tank, did we give you something? I think we did. I think we gave you something at the beginning of the day. Let's go sell some stuff. And then we should probably check the Nook Mall terminal, because I'm not sure if we got our daily bonus today. Did I play Pokemon Mystery Dungeon? Pokemon Mystery Dungeon surely came out before then. Oh, I remember one other time, like we moved house when we were younger. We didn't have internet or stuff set up for the first day because obviously we were moving in. We moved all in one day rather than over multiple days, which, you know, generally is, I suppose, preferred depending on your situation. But you know, you don't always get to choose, I suppose. But I remember me and my sister just watching a load of like Disney movies that we had on DVD, including the only one I remember, Big Brother. Not Big Brother, Brother Bear. Not Big Brother, not Big Brother. didn't watch that when I was like 6 years old. That was perhaps a bit too young. Oh, maybe that's why we had no internet. Maybe that was the same time. It's because we moved house. It's always when you move house, apparently. Which Brother Bear, which is a Scooby-Doo movie, the real life acted one, is it any good? No, from what I recall. But I liked it, probably, maybe. I don't really recall. I don't even remember the plot of it, to be honest. But I didn't think it was very good. Looking back in retrospect, Brother Bear though, good movie. What else did we watch? Finding Nemo, I think we had on DVD. I just remember we were just in the living room with a TV set up, and there's like piles of boxes all around, and we were just sitting in like 2 random chairs, and it was just late at night, and then we were just casually watching them. We sort of nostalgic memories, you know. You only remember the good parts. You don't remember the parts where you're sort of sitting around being bored, being like, oh no, it'd be really convenient. Handheld lantern, that looks cute. Be like, oh, it'd be really convenient right now to be able to, you know, to check the internet, X, Y, Z, blah 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 blah. Watch a YouTube video or something. Oh, I'd do anything to watch a YouTube video right now. But alas, I don't know where conversationally I went throughout this entire episode. I don't know if I made even any coherent sense, but I guess we'll round it off then because we reach half an hour anyway. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Join me Dear Darling Discord and follow me on Twitter down below. Hope we see each other again, but for now it's our farewell. So until next time, bye bye for now.